those in various colors and boxes and sizes in the back, so you just kind of have to dig through. I think they're roughly from left to right, going from smaller to larger sizes. And
Sure.
we have, I think there's some green ones, yellow ones,
You
beige
got it.
ones, blue ones. We're waiting for the head of the Sierra Club Water Set Host program to come out with the new colors. So.
Time for purple.
Yeah, time for purple. So we're very excited to have everybody here. Jen and I are going to be the kind of folks with the Sierra Club kind of coordinating our volunteer involvement in this project, but we're here to be trained by Rob McLean from Ducks Unlimited too, so we're really looking to Rob this morning to answer all our questions. And I guess I met Rob maybe a year or two ago when he had a meeting with the Illinois DNR and the Illinois EPA when they were first talking about this project, which is an effort by Ducks Unlimited to update the inventory of wetlands throughout Illinois. So there's a lot of work that Ducks Unlimited staff are doing that leads up to what we're asking you to do, which is to help do some field verification of the wetlands that they identified using aerial photographs. And it's a big project because I asked Rob to kind of estimate, well, how many wetlands do you think we're going to need to identify? And your estimate came up back at about 6,000 wetlands statewide. So we tried to get people here from northern Illinois because a lot of the counties that they've already completed their work on are in northern Illinois, but over the next couple of years, you're going to be finishing up our work, and we're going to be trying to get volunteers throughout the rest of the state. And so that's it for me. I'll turn it over to Rob. Thanks, Rob, for coming here and getting us going on this.
Better. Is that all right for the video thing?
Yeah, that's fine.
So as Cindy said, we're in the process of trying to update the National Wetlands Inventory. The National Wetlands Inventory was done back in the late 80s, something like that, by the Fish and Wildlife Service. Fish and Wildlife Service hasn't had a lot of funding in order to update the National Wetlands Inventory, to keep it going. And we've noticed a lot of difference in wetlands between that time period. And so we're trying, we got a grant, a state wildlife grant in Illinois to update the National Wetlands Inventory for the whole state of Illinois. It's part of actually a larger project. We're actually working on updating Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. So we're doing 4 states, and we're going to try and work on Wisconsin as well coming up. The kind of outline of what we want to try and go through today is, first of all, what we're trying to do and why we're trying to do it, the kind of background of the project and the wetlands and what we're trying to do throughout the whole project. And then the second part of it is how to perform field assessment, which I guess is probably why you guys are all here today. Just kind of go through that process, how we do it in the field. I just got back from the field. This week I was in the field in kind of central Illinois doing some of the field work. It's really important. Some of the wetlands that we identified from the photos, we thought, well, it could be a wetland, maybe not a wetland, we're not real sure, so we identified it on the map to field, verified. Actually took those maps out in the field and looked, and some of them were wetlands that we hadn't been identified before. Some of them just weren't wetlands because it was on a steep slope and we just couldn't tell from the photos. So it's really important to get this field assessment part of it so we can get a better feel for what is a wetland from the photo and what isn't a wetland. And then finally we're going to go out in the field and actually do a field example that's fairly close by here, kind of show you how to do it out in the field, take a photo, what the wetland, what to look for in the wetland, things like that. So we'll wrap it up with that at the end. If anybody has any questions as we go through this, please stop me and we can, yeah.
Who's Ducks Unlimited?
Oh, sure. That's probably a very good question to start out with. Ducks Unlimited is a wetlands conservation group. Our specialty is restoring wetlands. And our mission statement is basically to provide habitat for North American waterfowl forever, basically. So we got started back in 1937. It was during kind of the Dust Bowl area depression. And there was real loss of wetlands and a real decline in the wildfowl population because of the loss of wetlands in the Dust Bowl. And so basically what Ducks Unlimited was founded on was to restore the wetlands so that basically if you build it, they will come kind of mentality. So we're really, our bread and butter is actually in the restoration of wetlands for waterfowl and other species. So we've been doing that. It's actually, there's Ducks Unlimited Incorporated, which is US, but then we also have a Ducks Unlimited Canada, which is Canada, and Ducks Unlimited Mexico, so we're actually North American wide for, obviously, waterfowl migrate, so we do the whole migration path in North America. And So the first 30 years, basically what we did is we raised money in the U.S. and sent it all to Canada because Canada was the big breeding grounds. For the past 20 years, we've been working in the U.S. to restore wetlands as well. A lot of our funding comes from kind of the hunting organization, hunter-type people, but we also get a lot of funding from state, federal agencies, or private foundations, things like that. Our real bread and butter is actually doing the restoration work. A little background on the National Wetlands Inventory. It was done between 1980 and 1988. Kind of color-coded though. Most of the state was done in the early 80s, mid-80s. We're using air photos to basically do the inventory, looking at the photo, identifying the wetlands, and throughout the whole state. So it is a little bit old, anywhere between 20 years old or so, maybe a little older. And we've seen a lot of changes, and especially in our field work, we've seen a lot of changes in the wetlands based on the MWI. One of the reasons why we wanted to do the update is because of that. So in order to do the update, we're doing a similar process. We have photos. We have actually 3 dates of photos. We have a spring photo, which is the top photo up there. And then we also have 2 summer images, one color infrared, one natural color. So we actually have 3 dates and 3 types of photos, which help us identify the different types of wetlands. And I'll have another slide a little bit later on that shows you kind of the differences in and why we use the different photos and how we can pick up different wetlands. The main thing here is we have 3 different images to work with. So we're updating to 2005 basically. This is our main image here is the spring 2005 that we're working from. So why are we interested in updating and tracking wetlands? First of all, we do a lot of habitat modeling as well, figuring out where those waterfowl are, where the big concentrations of waterfowl are. The way we do this is we have surveys. There's survey routes that go through, and each section of that survey has a number of birds. So for that section, there may be 20 breeding pairs of mallards. The next section may be, over here, maybe 10 breeding pairs of mallards. What we do is relate the number of breeding pairs of mallards to the wetlands and the wetland types. And from that information, we can apply the number of breeding mallards over the whole landscape, which you see here. So the red areas are the really hot spots of breeding mallards. And so in order to do that application, we need to have a good wetlands base for the whole state, or the whole states, the whole regions, in order to apply this information to the whole region. So we know, kind of get a better feel for where those breeding mallards are, or breeding waterfowl can occur. The other big thing is for restoration planning. If we know where those old wetlands used to be, those are prime areas for us to go in and restore for our restoration efforts.
Rob,
yeah.
Do you put your data somewhere where it's publicly available?
Yes. This layer actually has the breeding waterfowl. You can get off our website. The National Wetlands Inventory, when you update it, is actually going to be sent back to the Fish and Wildlife Service, incorporated into the official National Wetlands Inventory, which is posted on their website. It's also part of the national map. You can also download it from our website. So it will be publicly available to anybody who wants to use it.
Is it available as a GIS layer or something?
Yes. Yep. You can. The national map's really kind of neat because it's kind of like an online map viewer where you can view it. There's also a plugin to Google Earth, if anybody's familiar with Google Earth, where you can actually view the national wetlands on top of Google Earth as well. So there's a lot of different avenues to actually use the data. Yeah, it will be available as a GIS layer as well. GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems. It's basically what the inventory's been, the system that we're using in order to update the inventory. This is just a blow up of that example. Basically, we came up with a formula and applied that formula based on the whole landscape, based on the wetlands inventory that we currently had, in order to do a map of where the breeding waterfowl occur in the state. Density, basically, red is really high, and going to green is lower. So you can kind of see the different densities. This map was all based on the old original MWI update. What we want to do after when we get this official. When we get the updated wetlands, we want to reapply this formula to this area.